All right, guys, welcome to the second half of the podcast. Today, Monday, August 28th, 2023, the MMAOB Daily Podcast. Adam Martin, joined by Big Marcel, your two hosts of the show. We're going to be previewing UFC Paris, Gane for Spivac, and we'll break down Dana White Contender Series 60 after that. But the bulk of the card, or not the bulk of the card, the bulk of the show will be on the UFC Paris card. We should mention that there's two fights that are missing right now. That lost their fight today, I believe it was, Marcel, right? So William Gomes was supposed to fight, what's his name?
Lucas Almeida.
Lucas Almeida, and that fight's off because Almeida's out. So I think they're looking for an opponent, right?
Yeah.
And the other fight that got pulled was Taylor Lapilus against Muin Gafarov. Gafarov's out. So hopefully they find opponents for these guys. I hope so, right?
I think that, listen, if it was the other way around, they wouldn't search, but these are two French guys, so they will definitely try to
find someone. Yeah. What do you think? It's going to be some European guys, probably?
It's possible. It's also possible they just do somebody maybe with who is in how do you say that? Who are traveling with other fighters. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I agree. All right, man, let's get into it. Let's just get some comments. Looks like UFC is doing the same for upcoming Irish card set up with the new signings. Fair enough. John, what's up? Like, see all these fighters. There's 7 new fighters on this card, and they might actually get more. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, like Glenn, like Marcel said, hopefully
nothing at the moment.
Oh, Timur would be great if they could bring in Timur. That'd be awesome. He deserves it. Antoine, what's up, brother? All right, let's get into it, guys. We're gonna break down the whole card. I'll give you your get your opinion first on the card as a whole. I know you're not a huge fan of it, Marcel. What do you think?
On paper, I think it's a really weak card, to be really honest. You know, I feel like, listen, guys, I'm not like that there always have to be big names on the card. But if you ask a certain amount of money for a card, in my opinion, you should give the people the value they deserve. You know what I mean? I mean, like a trillion of fight fans asked for Abduragimov on this card to make his debut. The UFC just didn't look at it. Yeah, they did look at him, but they just didn't give him contract because the card was too full. Now they have a fucking 10 cards on the fight, you know, on the card. You have 10 fights on the fucking card, you know? And now we went to PFL, you know? So, I mean, I hear a lot of people, actually French people, who have sold their ticket after that happened because they wanted to see him and they were hoping he was on the card. But also, like, the UFC is really like, they built this card around Gane and the Furo Namajunas fight. You know, they were like, we have these two fights on. As long as these two fights are on, we can put on the card whatever we want. You know, I don't say it's a bad card. Don't get me wrong. There can be some fun fights on this one, but man, I mean, listen. To be really honest, if you put this card last year in front of me, I probably wouldn't have known 3 or 4 fighters on this card, you know?
Fair enough.
And that's weird because normally, even when the UFC signs somebody, I know who they are. You know what I mean? So,
fair enough. Yeah, I agree. By the way, this is a great question from Pato. Hey, Pato, what's up? Lazy King got passed, but they signed all these like random guys, like from Kiefer Crosby and Bellator guy.
I tell you kind of what happened. I don't know if I already told in the podcast, but I'll do it anyways. So they gave an offer to another team to fight Abduragimov in the UFC. And I have contact with that team. And that team told me, like, do you know if Abdullah actually accepted the fight? Because we're waiting for 2 weeks already. I was like, that's weird. So I went to Abdul's side, and Abdul tells me, like, we haven't got anything, man. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I was like, that's weird. So I went back to the team. It's like he didn't get anything from the UFC. So that team calls with the UFC. I won't say who from the UFC said it, but they were like, yeah, we wanted to do this fight, but actually the card is pretty full, so we're probably not going to do this fight. So they considered Abdul, but they were like, no, the card is too full. We're not going to do it. And now Abdul signed with PFL. It's just stupid. You know what I mean? It's just stupid because they're signing guys who are like 5-4 or 5-1. 4-1, 7-3, 10-5, for example, you know. And you get Abdul, who's really good, and he was really popular, and people wanted to see him in Paris. I don't get that kind of stuff, you know. And it's probably also because they probably offered him 12 plus 12, maybe, you know. That's probably also a thing, you know. It's just stupid, you know. In my opinion, it's stupid, but yeah, it is what it is, you know.
Completely agreed. Some comments. This guy doesn't like the card. JP should say, not this guy. Be respectful, you, JP. Yeah, the cards aren't great. Like, I mean, they're selling out though, Lynn. So what do they care, right?
That's the thing also with Australia.
For a fight. Yeah, like the top 2 fights are really good, obviously. Either UFC Fernandez, Lucas, screw Abdul. Yeah, I mean, is he really screwed? He's going to PFL, probably will win $1 million. He probably did better than he would in the UFC. All right, guys, let's get into the preview, man, because there's a lot of fights to talk about. We do have 10 fights left, and again, we might get one or two more. Let's start with the first fight, Marcel. Here we go. We got bantamweights, Farid Basharat taking on Kleidison Rodrigues. I don't know if you noticed they changed Kleidison Rodrigues' name. Did you see that?
Yeah, Kleidison. I don't know why.
And he's on a new weight class now, right? So he got forced up to 135 because he missed weight twice.
Also, one of the better fights on the card. They have it on the
buried on the prelims, and I think it's a good fight too. So, anyways, odds for this one, Basharat is favored here. He's minus. Let me pull it up here. Minus 310 and plus 250 on Rodrigues. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm going with Basharat here. I don't have to think a lot about it. I mean, Kleidison Rodrigues, he's a fun fighter, but I've seen him at flyweight, you know. CJ Vergara, he lost his debut to. I think he actually should have won that fight, to be really honest, you know. And against Shannon Ross, yeah, I mean, Shannon Ross, not really UFC caliber. I like the guy, but got to be honest. And with Basharat, I was kind of impressed with Basharat, what I've seen so far, you know. And the thing is, his win over Damon Blackshear look actually better as well now, you know. It looks actually better. And the Alan Bagoso fight he beat in the Contender Series was also not a bad fighter at all. So, yeah, I'm not picking a finish here, but I'm definitely going with Basharat. I think he wins a unanimous decision, a clear decision.
He wins. I like him a lot here. I think he grinds it out. I'm with you. I think he wins every round, takes him down, grinds him out. You know, he's just a bigger guy, stronger guy. He has the height advantage, reach advantage. He's younger, undefeated. There's everything there's like about this guy. Like, I'd be pretty surprised if he lost, honestly. I guess Rodrigues might be the better striker. I'll give him that, but I don't think it'll matter because he'll be on his back most of this fight. I expect Basharat to take him down, grind him out. I don't know if he finishes, but I expect to win like a clean decision here. So Basharat, I think he's a good parlay piece this week, guys. I like him here. Also, Pato, I disagree with you, man. I mean, like what's the UFC going to offer? Maybe at most 50 and 50, maybe. Like at most, probably not even, probably 25. Come on, $1 million. He's probably going to win it. I think anyone would make that decision. That's my opinion. You're going to jump in? You have something to say?
Yeah, man. I know for sure that Abdul, if the UFC came to him, he would have taken it, dude. So he really wanted to go to the UFC, but he was like, I cannot wait any more longer. And PFL was so respectful to him in the meeting, and he felt really good about him. So he went with them. He's like, I cannot wait in the hope that the UFC signs me, and then I say no to PFL, you know. And then the UFC doesn't come, and what then? You know, then I said no to PFL, and the UFC didn't came. What then? You know, so yeah, I mean, I think the UFC made a huge mistake, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have Ange Loosa taking on Rhys McKee, who's making his return to the UFC. Odds for this one: Ange Loosa minus 190, plus 160. Rhys McKee. Go ahead, Marcel.
Yeah, difficult, I think. You know, if you look at Ange Loosa, we all remember that crazy fight against Jack Della Maddalena in the Contender Series where he lost, but I thought he should have got a contract of that one as well. Went to ex-MMA, defeat John Howard, former UFC fighter. Then came the UFC, short notice fight against Mounir Laziz, lost the fight, and the AJ Fletcher fight was a crazy fight, I remember. You know, both guys had good moments in that fight, and he got his first win in the UFC. Rhys McKee, yeah, I remember he got the phone call from his manager like, you got signed with the UFC. We have a fight for you. He's like, you're fighting Khamzat Chimaev. He's like, yeah, I don't know who that is, but looking forward to it. Yeah, man, Khamzat Chimaev. We walked through him, but yeah, I mean, that wasn't bad. The Alex Morono fight was actually remembered that he lost his his mouthpiece, and it was stuck somewhere in the octagon, and they had to stop the fight to find the mouthpiece. Can you remember that? So
yeah.
Yeah. So, and then he went to Cage Warriors, and he got champion there, won 3 fights back to back.
Yep.
Good win over Burlinson. The Mantekivi fight was a good win, and the Wallhead was, 4th round. But the thing is, like, Wallhead is super tough. He's also, by the way, a former UFC fighter, Wallhead. He fought Ayari.
You know, Jim.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, man. I'm going with Rhys McKee here. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm going with Rhys McKee. I think he can win. He got a huge height advantage. He got a reach advantage here. I think a lot of fight will take place standing. Rhys McKee, unanimous decision.
I don't think it's crazy at all. This fight to me is more of a coin flip. Like I think the odds are a little bit off here on Loosa. This is a tough one to pick, man. Honestly, like because to me, like McKee, he's looked better lately, but I still feel like the takedown defense is an issue. Like Morono took him down. Obviously, Khamzat took him down. But And then what's his name? Loosa. That's kind of like what he did to Fletcher, right? Like he can kind of mix it up a little bit. He had the 2 takedowns on Fletcher. He had the 1 on Jack. His striking is decent too. It's passable, right? It's decent. But I think the way he wins this fight is by taking the fight to the ground. This is a sketchy pick. I think I wouldn't bet on this fight either. It might be dog or pass based on the line. I'm leaning towards Loosa by decision, Marcel, but it's not a confident pick by any means. I'm staying the fuck away from this fight. It's not like the first fight where I'm like, yeah, Basharat wins. Like this one's like, I don't know about this one. I think it could go either way. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have Nora Cornolle taking on Joselyne Edwards. Cornolle making her UFC debut. Odds for this one, Edwards minus 120, Cornolle plus 100. So very, very close odds here. Want me to start on this one, Marcel?
Oh, yeah, please do.
Yeah. Okay, so I never watched tape on this girl until this morning. I'll be honest with you. And Cornolle I'm talking about, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, like, on paper, right, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, Edwards has, like, 6 fights in the UFC. She's on a 3-fight win streak, although some of the fights were close. And then she's 27, right? So I'm like, all right, like, that's my lean heading into the tape study, just based on the biometrics. Then I watched the tape, and, man, I think Cornolle's good, dude. I liked what I saw. Marcel. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch the tape on her? Have you seen?
Yeah.
So I'll get your thoughts in a sec. But I liked what I saw, dude. I got to be honest. I thought she looked great. I really did. She's a striking background, but what I was impressed by is her grappling. Like almost every fight, she's getting her opponents to the ground. Now, granted, her level of competition hasn't been great, guys. I get that. She is an older fighter. I get that as well. She's 34, so you don't really see that happening too often making the debut, but it is a women's division, so it's a little different. But honestly, man, I liked what I saw. Like, and I think the grappling is going to be the difference in this fight. I think she could take down Edwards and take her down and hold her there, control her a little bit. Most of her wins are by stoppage, too. It's possible she could finish the fight. Edwards, pretty tough, really good volume on the feet, good striker. Hopefully she makes weight. She's missed weight twice in a row, so she better make it. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a close fight. I'm not going to bet on it, but my lean is towards Cornolle. I think she can grind this one out. I liked what I saw. So, yeah, I honestly, man, I thought she looked good on tape, better than I expected, and I'm going to pick her to win a decision, I guess, in this fight. I think it'll be competitive and she'll grind it out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Joselyne Edwards' record is way better than it actually should have been. I think she got lucky in her last 2 fights with split decisions that she shouldn't have got, in my opinion.
Yep.
Cornolle, yeah, I remember Cornolle from Infusion where she fought kickboxing. That's where I saw her a couple of years ago. Yeah, I agree with you on the ground. She looks pretty decent for somebody who has been a kickboxer, Muay Thai fighter pretty most of her career before she went to MMA. I'm also taking a gamble here on Cornolle. I actually picking her by finish here, man.
It's possible.
Yeah, I think I'll pick her with first round finish, actually.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
possible.
Yeah, I pick her with first round finish. Yeah, I think she maybe ground and pounds her. Yeah.
I think the girl's pretty good, guys. Honestly, like, yeah. I mean, again, no experience in the UFC, and older prospect, but you gotta like what you see from the tape, man. It looked really good. Yeah, it's funny that Cornolle and Cavalcanti both fought, and now they're both making their debuts. I think they fought in 2018 or something. Say Cornolle traveling at Great Britain top team. Okay, that's interesting. The last thing is kind of weird. Cornhole. That's the game in you throw like the beanbag into a hole. She's got a very strange last name. I'll say that. All right, let's get to the next fight here. Speaking of the devil, Jacqueline Cavalcanti taking on Zarah Fairn. And this women's bantamweight bout sees Cavalcanti is a big favorite here, Marcel. She is minus 360, plus 285 in Zarah Fairn. All right, so again, new fighter that I haven't really seen fight, right? Like, she is the LFA champion, but I didn't see the fight until, like, today. So I watched the tape on her. I mean, I think there's something here. I liked Cornolle's tape better personally, but the thing about this girl, she's only 25, right? She's so young. She's super young. Good striker though. I assumed she was a grappler. I just assumed that. I don't know why I assumed that, but I did. And then I watched her fight. She's a striker. She's a pure striker. She has a little bit of grappling, but not really. More of a striker. But super young, right? 25 years old. And then you got Fairn here. So, by the way, Marcel, Tapaldi and Sure I have her listed at 36, but UFC stats said she's 39. So I don't know if you want to correct that or if it's what's right or wrong. Do you know about this?
Well, Fairn, I have no idea.
Yeah, UFC stats has her listed at 83, but you guys have 86. So I checked that over. So right now, if UFC stats is correct, which I'm assuming it would be, I would hope it would be, it's the UFC's official stats, 14-year age gap. So while Fairn did, go ahead.
Let me see, would it Fairn last fight, Joselyne and Nunes? Yeah. Let's see if we see the tail of the tape.
Sure, pull it up. It was earlier this year. So yeah, Fairn in that fight actually looked decent, like her best performance in the UFC, but still lost. 0-3 in the UFC. She's been in the UFC for 4 years. Hasn't won a fight in 6 years. Decent striker, and that's about it. Like I don't see much upside here. I know she's from Paris or whatever. Maybe the scorecards could lean towards her if it goes to decision. But I mean, Cavalcanti, I think, is just much younger fighter, faster fighter. Probably has a little bit more power too. And I think she probably wins this fight. So the line's high, but I think she wins, man. I think Cavalcanti wins. I'd be surprised if a 39-year-old beat a 25-year-old, personally. What do you think, man?
Keep talking, man. I'm still
searching. Sure, no problem. He's going to look for that, guys. Here's a comment, by the way, from Patty Brady. You're going to get tickets so bad against boring and he passed. Fair enough, man. But yeah, I think, if you're a fan of the sport, I would go if you can afford it. Fan could get a win. She could win, but, like, I don't know, man. Again, 39 for what we're seeing, right, UFC stats. Against a girl that's also a striker. Like, it's striker for strikers. That gives Fairn a chance. But again, like, just to me, this doesn't pass the eye test.
She was 39 against Nunes.
Yeah, so she's 39 years old. So I'm not picking her. I'm picking the 25-year-old.
When was she born? Can you tell me?
1983. Okay, August 29. Or sorry, wrong person. December 10th, 1983.
Yeah, it's changed now.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Sherdog also has 86. That's why I double-checked with you, but I think it's 83. So just something to know. I mean, people are probably doing their breakdown saying, oh, she's 36. She's 39. I'm not picking a 39-year-old against 25-year-old fighter who's, like, pretty talented. I'm assuming you're picking Cavalcanti.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking Cavalcanti. I think Fairn gets only picked by either her family members and her teammates. Cavalcanti, she also trains with a good team of girls. I think she trains with Sabina Mazo, for example. And with other, let me see. She trains at Black House MMA. Yeah, she trains with some decent. Doesn't Tabata Ricci also train at Black House, right?
Yeah.
So and
yeah,
also I think
training with Sabina Mazo. That's the girl she's training with. They're like best friends.
And Piera Rodrigues also.
Yep,
I think. So
yeah.
There's some decent girls in the gym there.
Sure.
Cavalcanti, I think at least she's better than Zarah Fairn.
Sure.
Zarah Fairn is like pretty much, I don't want to shit on her, but she's pretty much like the worst girl in the UFC right now.
She's not good at all, dude.
No. And she's going to be 6-6 after this fight, I think.
Is she going to make weight? That's the question.
Yeah, that's also a thing. There's also the thing with Joselyne Edwards, by the way. They should have done
Joselyne Edwards those two up instead. They should have did the rematch. Yeah, but they want to build up new fighters. That's why.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm picking Cavalcanti. I'm going with decision win. But
that's what I have.
But even I wouldn't be surprised if she finishes her.
I get Glenn. I get what you're saying, but Fairn is just not good, dude. In my opinion. Again, I know she had somewhat competitive fight with Joselyne Nunes, but I don't know. She doesn't pass the eye test for me, so I'm going to go by what I saw. I'm not saying Cavalcanti is amazing, though. I wasn't, like, super blown away by any means, but I think she wins this fight. If she loses this fight, it's just like, wow. All right, next fight, guys. We got this is a good one, too, I think. Two guys making their debut. The Last Pirate, Morgan Charriere, taking on Manolo Zecchini, Venetian Angel or something, I think his name is. And I'll give my thoughts on this one too, because I just watched the tape on, both guys as well, but I've seen Charriere fight. -35 on the Last Pirate, +245 on the Venetian Angel. All right, let me start with Charriere, Marcelo. So we've obviously seen him fight many times in Cage Warriors. Lots of experience, right? Fighting 5-round fights, fight some really good competition. Good fighter, solid fighter, pretty good striker, pretty good grappler, very well-rounded. Shitload of experience. This is his 29th fight. What is that, Marcel? Marcel, I can hear something.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. It's like 29 fights, I think. So he's got a ton of experience, right? Coming in his debut, 27 years old. So there's just a lot to like about Charriere. But I'll tell you this. Zecchini's a guy honestly, Marcel, I haven't heard of him. Now, I did look back, and he fought on that Venator FC card where Emil Weber-Mech knocked out Paul Harris. So that card had so many guys that ended up in the UFC, which is crazy. And he's one of them, obviously. Because you look at that card, Marcel, look at the guys that ended the UFC. Mech, Vittori, Jack Hermanson, who else was it? This guy, Daniel Barwardo. There's all these guys on that first or that third Venator card where they kind of like broke out as a big promotion in Italy. So I watched this guy's tape today. Dude, I mean, he's a fun guy to watch, man. He's got some really good striking guys. He's a fun guy to watch. Really good striking. That knee knockout had this last fight was fucking crazy. Insane. I don't know if you saw it, Marcel. It was a crazy knee knockout. Yeah, it was sick. So I liked what I saw, but I'll tell you right now, like striking-wise, he can win a lot of fights, but the grappling's an issue. And that fight with that Karo Matulo Sufiev guy, that German guy, taken down, easily controlled. And that's what I think Charriere does here. I think it's not the best like matchup for his debut because for Charriere and his France, because it's more of a fight where he should be taking the guy down. So I think the crowd might not like the way he fights here, but I think he's going to fight smart. I think he'll take his opponent down, grind him out. So I do think Charriere wins. He's minus 305 for a reason. I think he'll grind it out. But man, I like Zecchini better than I thought. Like striking's awesome. I just think it's a bad matchup for him against the guy who's going to grapple him. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, man, Morgan Charriere has been like a long favorite of a lot of people, you know, in Cage Warriors. He did pretty well. He was champion there. I think he lost to Jordan Fucinic and Paul Hughes, who are like pretty much the top guys in that division over there. But he got signed by the UFC. He's in Paris, right? The funny thing is when they do like a poll for Cage Warriors on Morgan Charriere, he wins every single poll with 99% of the votes because he got so many people who are loving him in France. He got a huge fan base. That's also pretty much why probably the UFC is taking him for this event, you know. And he's talented as well. Yeah, Manolo Zecchini. I like him as well. Don't get me wrong, but I'm fully agree with you, Adam. I think Morgan Charriere plays safe here.
Yep.
He wants to have this win in front of his home crowd, and his home crowd is not going to boo him if he goes safe here. They want him to win. So yeah, for me as well, Morgan Charriere by unanimous decision.
Yeah, I think it's fight. You know, like I said, it could be exciting, but I feel like the guy will take the path of least resistance because he's got 30 fights of experience, right? So I think he'll fight really smart here. All right, here we go. This fight between Yanis, Ghemmouri, and Loughran. It should be a good fight too, I think. This is opening up the main card. Two pretty solid prospects. Again, there's a lot of new fighters in this card that I don't watch all the other promotions, like unless the guys get signed to the UFC, really. And did the tape study, and these bantamweights are pretty good prospects, I think. You know, let's start with the odds. Loughran is a big favorite, minus 300, plus 240 in Ghemmouri. So let's start with Loughran. Yeah, I mean the guy's good, right? Like he's solid. You know, he's a good Irish prospect. He's got good ground game, right? Like really good ground game. And he could get his opponents down, beat them up, and ground and pound them, and just dominate them on the ground. It's impressive. I mean, the guy's good. There's no doubt. He's here for a reason. Ghemmouri, I thought he looked good too, Marcel. I liked what I saw from this guy as well. Again, some striking he's got, but he also has some grappling. And I think he's a striking for a striking background, but his grappling impressed me. So yeah, I think this fight is a good fight. I lean towards Loughran. He probably wins this fight, probably gets him down, grinds him out, or ground and pounds him. But yeah, man, I thought that Ghemmouri looked good too. So the fact that it's the main card opener, maybe the UFC sees like a fight that could go either way here, and the French guy could pull it off. I don't know. We'll see. Two good prospects. I like the fight. Like it a lot. I lean towards Loughran, probably ground and pound again. That's what he does in all his fights. But man, I think the other guy's really good too. So what do you think?
Yeah, man, Caolan Loughran, he's been like a big talent in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Did very well in Cage Warriors, became a champion there. Actually, I was like really on the fence because I thought he was talented, but you know, I was like, let's see. But when he defeated Luke Shanks, I was like, former champion. Well, it was really good. And then they defeated Dylan Hassan, who was like undefeated and fought in front of his own crowd in Italy. Was really good. Actually, also, do you know who he beat in his first two fights as a professional? Caolan Loughran.
Well, I have his thing out right now, so yeah.
You should check. The records of the two he beat.
Yeah, I know. The one guy, Will Cairns, is a scrub, and every street guy's also a scrub. These guys have like they're like flagged on Tapology. Yeah. They're both shit fighters. They're not really even like real fighters, right? They're like Bob Sapp, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
0-31, 0-39. I mean, come on.
Crazy. You got the Yanis Ghemmouri. I think Ghemmouri is really he's a good fighter. You know what I've seen from him in Brave. You know, he fought in Brave and he also fought in UAE Warriors. The This is a difficult one. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if Ghemmouri gets the upset here, because I think he's a really decent fighter too, But I've got to go with Loughran. I'm more confident in that he can get the win here with his grappling. I would go with Loughran decision. I think it will be a fun fight.
Yeah, those two guys are so shit. The one dude's 0-40, and the other guy's 1-42. Imagine being the one guy that he beat. Like, that guy must really fucking suck. Mark Halford. Holy crap, that dude sucks. Anyways,
it's like what's your favorite guy? What's his name again? We always mention the show.
Jay Ellis. Yeah. You picked Loughran too? You took him?
Yeah.
But you like Ghemmouri, eh?
Yeah, he's a good fighter.
Yeah, he's not bad. I think it was a good signing, personally. Caolan coming out of Cavalcanti is a good thing. Yeah, and this guy likes Ghemmouri. I think he's got a chance. I'm going to pass on this one. Yeah, Charriere should have been in the UFC a while ago. He's good. He's solid. Lots of experience, but he was losing some key fights in Cage Warriors.
He lost to Paul Hughes and Vucinic, but Paul Hughes also deserves to be in the UFC.
He should be. I watched that fight today, actually, the 5-round title fight they had. All right, go to the next fight here. We got Volkan Oezdemir taking on Bogdan Guskov, making his debut on short notice, I believe. It's supposed to be Oezdemir against Azamat Mirzakhanov. I would have picked Azamat. We'll say that right now. I know you would have picked him too, obviously, right? Yeah. Odds for this one: Volkan Oezdemir -185, Bogdan Guskov +155. I'll start on this one too, Marcel, because again, I do the tape starting in this guy. So let's start with the stalwart here at Oezdemir. I mean, listen, the guy is kind of turned to a gatekeeper at this point, but he's still got power and he's still like pretty durable. I know he's been dropped a few times, but he's still hanging in there. And he does have that win with Paul Craig last year. That win looks a little better now. I know it was Paul Craig won his fight at 185 against Yanis, but still looks okay. And we've seen the guy; he's got some power, right? He's a good striker. Don't completely trust his chin. That's why I was going to pick Mirzakhanov. But here's the thing: I know Guskov's got power, right? Anthony Smith Jr. Lookalike. He's got power, but his chin's also kind of sketchy in my opinion. He's been knocked out, he's been dropped, and his wrestling's not very good either, from what I saw. So he's got a puncher's chance, obviously. I mean, he's got knockout power, but like I think Volkan can use his experience here and just fight a smart fight, grind this guy against the fence, get him down to the ground, beat him up. I think he could win by like a late stoppage with ground and pound or something. So I'll go with Oezdemir Marcel by knockout. It's not like the most confident pick because I don't really trust him anymore personally. But if you ask me who wins this fight, I'm picking Volkan Oezdemir. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one because I don't really believe in Volkan Oezdemir anymore, to be really honest. He's fighting Bogdan Smitkov, right? I mean, Bogdan is training with Johnny Walker's brother, Walter Walker, and Sharafudin Magomedov at Gore MMA. He looks good in his fights, man, what I've seen. But I have the feeling like that a lot of his opponents aren't great quality wins. You know what I mean? So that's how I think it's difficult to say what he's going to do here. I would say it's either Guskov gets the early finish or Oezdemir wins his decision. That's what I feel like. And then I will take a gamble with this one this time, and I go with Guskov with the ground finish.
There we go. We got a dog pick from ourselves for Guskov by knockout. I don't think this woof. Indeed. I don't think the fight goes the distance. By the way, you forgot to press the button on the Nora Cornolle because we both had her as a consensus dog. So you missed it. All right, there you go. We'll take that. Yeah, Joe, I kind of agree with this. Like the experience to me is like that's the reason I'm picking him here, especially. Alrighty, guys, just a couple of fights left. This card only has 10 fights on it right now. We got this is a good fight. Lightweight bout, Benoit Saint Denis against
one of the best fights.
Moises, yeah, very good fight. Odds for this one: Benoit Saint Denis -155, Moises +130. I'm picking Saint Denis. Like, I think the guys look phenomenal lately, man. Like he's looked amazing. Fight with Bonfim was beyond impressive. His striking looked amazing, and then his ground game looked amazing. The fight against Gabriel Miranda, he looked amazing, knocking him down 3 times and then finishing him. Against Stoltz, taking him down 3 times, finishing him. And then the Santos fight again. That was his debut. It was at welterweight, and we saw how durable the dude is. Now, that was an epic beatdown, and I got to be honest, after that, I was like, oh, I can never pick this guy. But my God, he's looked good. He's looked amazing. And then Moises, I'll give Moises credit too. Like, he's looked good at times, right? Like, he has really good wins on his resume, some really nice wins. Like, the Costa guy, I know it was a different weight class, but he looked great in that fight. Giagos, Alexander Hernandez, Bobby Green, Michael Johnson, like Kurt Holloway. He's got some good wins, man, you know? But I also feel like he's beatable, you know? Like, I feel like he's a guy that you could get finished potentially, especially against a guy like Saint Denis, who's so dangerous. and say that he's fighting at home. And he's the kind of guy that I think is really going to get fired up for this fight. A guy with, great cardio, a guy with great condition, a guy with a great chin, a guy with good ground game, good striking. Like, to me, Moises is like kind of a gatekeeper now. I think St. Denis like going to the top 15, man. He's on a roll. I like this guy. I think he wins. I think he finishes this fight. I think he's going to knock out Thiago Moises. That's my pick. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult pick, to be really honest, man. Moises hasn't been finished unless it was against Islam Makhachev, right? Well, I mean, with submission, for example. And I see Saint Denis. I think it's a competitive fight, to be honest, man. But the momentum is more with Saint Denis, although Moises won his last 2 fights. It's also in France. I'm also going with Saint Denis. I don't think I see a finish. I go with a decision win for Benoit Saint Denis here.
There you go. We both like him there. Benoit Saint Denis season, absolutely. Yeah, that's the last fight with Volkan. Yeah, I agree. By the way, I want to get this comment. Guskov's last one lost 6-7 fraud check. So he might get fraud checked here. We'll say this, though. That Carlos Eduardo guy fought John Jones once. So he's kind of like the Parker Porter a little bit of that circuit. Anyways, all right, cool. Just a couple fights left here, guys. Let's go to the co-main event here. We have Manon Fiorot taking on Rose Namajunas. And odds for this one have Manon is -185, Rose +155. I'll get your thoughts on it first. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is another tricky one, to be really honest. Manon Fiorot, she has looked good so far in the UFC. Won everything. So her only loss in her career came against Leah McCord. I actually was live there, and I think Manon Fiorot won that fight. So then look at Rose. Man, Rose looked so bad. Her last fight, man, against Carla. She looked so bad. I mean, she really looked like that. She didn't want to be in there, And the thing is, if Rose is on, I think she can beat Manon. But is Rose on? You never know, You can get focused Rose, and you can get Rose who isn't really there. And if Rose isn't really there, Manon wins the fight, If Rose is there, actually wants to fight hard and wants to go for a flyweight title, she can win against Manon, because I still think she's way better on the ground than Manon is. And I think she can give her run for her money on the feet. That said, it's too much of a liability to me, and that's it. I'm going with Manon Fiorot, unanimous decision win here.
It's tough, in my opinion. Because Manon, they're obviously trying to get her a win here, I would say, in France. I mean, on paper it looks like that, but I think people are overlooking Rose too. Rose is one of the best women's fighters of all time. She's beaten Joanna twice, she finished her. She's beaten Zhang twice, finished her. Beaten Andrade once. She has a great. Just look at her resume; it's insane. She's fought killers, some of the best women's fighters of all time. Everyone's writing her off because of her last fight with Esparza and that grappling match with Julia Robertson. I don't even look at that grappling match, to be honest with you. I look more at that. Pardon? Sorry. Yeah, I don't really look at that. It's a different sport. I mean, there's. I guess you could take something, but Julia Robertson's a good grappler, so in a grappling match she could win. But anyways, as far as the Esparza fight goes, it was terrible. Having said that, she could have still won the decision. It was a split decision. It could have gone either way. It wasn't like she got blown out. It was just a horrible fight. No one did anything. If her head's on right here, she could win this fight. It just depends what kind of mentality she comes into the fight with. Because the killer thug Rose is one of the best women's fighters we've ever seen. This one's tough, guys. Honestly, when the fight first got announced, my immediate thought was Rose will win this fight. Now, as we get closer to it, I have some more doubt, just because. I don't know. Fiorot, obviously, like I said, is a good fighter. But at the same time, man, she hasn't blown me away, guys. She's been winning these fights, but I think while she's looked good, it's not been blowing me away. And then with Rose, when she wins, she blows me away. And again, I can't discount these wins that she has over Zhang. I mean, 2 wins over Zhang. That says something right there, in my opinion. So it's not a confident pick, but I'll lean towards the dog by decision. I'll take Rose by decision, Marcel. That's my pick here. So we'll see, guys. I mean, she is moving up to weight. Someone points out it's definitely something to mention, but she's only 2 inches shorter, and the reach is the same too. So it's not like it's a huge size discrepancy, in my opinion. I think watching the weigh-in for this one would be good too, just to see what they look like. But yeah, I think Rose can win a decision here. It's not confident though, just based on her last fight. But I just can't discount the experience, the high-level experience, man. So at her best, I think she's one of the best of all time in the women's weight classes. So I'll take Rose, win a decision. All right, go to the main event here, Marcel. It's a good one here as well. We got Ciryl Gane taking on Serghei Spivac, the polar bear. Up to this one, Gane is favored -170 and +140 on Spivac. So I'll give my quick thoughts on this one as well, Marcel. I mean, listen, like there's a lot of people picking Spivac, right? I think Marcus, he's in the chat. I think he's on Spivac. I get it. Spivac's looked fantastic lately. His ground game's really good. Look at his last 3 fights. He's got 15 takedowns. I mean, it's fucking impressive, right? And finishing everyone too. But I still question the chin a little bit, guys. Like he's been knocked out a couple times. And the fights he can't get to the ground, he gets in trouble. And with Gane, like I get it. Jones took him down. Francis took him down. And the takedown defense on paper is 45%. That's very bad. Like, let's be honest, it's terrible, right? I still think, though, that this guy, there's still something here with him. He keeps it standing. If he keeps it standing, he wins easily, right? That's just the question, though. Can he keep it standing? We'll see. We'll see. But I do think that the Paris crowd here will fire him up. I think he'll have a better showing than the fight against Jones. And again, at Gane's best, he is one of the best heavyweights in the world too. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Gane here, Marcel. I'll take him to win by knockout. I think he'll finish Spivac in, like, I'll say first or second round by knockout. What do you think?
Same way. I think Gane wins the fight. Listen, man, Spivac might be better on him than the ground than him on the ground, but he has to get the fight to the ground.
Yeah.
Gane will try to pick him apart from the outside, like he always tries to do. I think he catches him somehow in the first, second, or third round, and he pushes him away. Definitely in front of his home crowd. It's not gonna. Listen, man, you saw him against Ty, and I know Ty doesn't have the takedown thing going on, but he's tough. You know, many people would be knocked out by that shot Ty landed, and he had that drive that put him through, and then he knocked out Ty. So I think, and God knows as well, if he loses this one, he's fucked in the division. You know, he knows that he needs to win here, and he's going to win. I think I'm picking Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, I see some people in the chat. They think the wrestler wins in this spot. Maybe. I mean, there's no doubt Spivac's the better grappler, and it's MMA, right? So I usually do lean the grappler. It's just that I'm not ready to write off Gane because of the loss to Jones and Nagano. Like, I should say. I'm just not ready to write. I mean, he lost to, like, argue the 2 best heavyweights that ever fought in the UFC. I mean, I guess Stipe would be up there too. Maybe 2 of the best 3 or something. I guess you could take these 2. Anyways, 2 of the better guys. Like,
yeah, just say 2 of the best. Yeah,
sure. Like, he lost to the best fighter of all time in his last fight. Like, I don't think it's the worst loss to have. You know, the Francis one is a little more concerning. But again, that fight with Marcel, he doesn't go for that leg rock around. Was it round 5?
Yeah.
He wins the fight. So, yeah, we'll see. Because Spivac's look good, man. He's improved. But I still question the chin. I still question the striking.
And don't forget, like, Gane said he expected Gane to grapple. He absolutely didn't expect Gane to grapple there. Nobody did.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the comments. A lot of people do like Spivac, and I don't blame you guys. Again, the grappler usually does win. A lot of the handicaps are picking Spivac.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I get it too. I mean, like, it makes sense, right? I get it. I'm not ready to write off Gane just yet. But he might go in there and blow it, Marcel. I'll be like, damn it, I should have went with the grappler. We'll see what happens. There was a question here I want to answer. Oh, the winner of Rose and Furo gets a title shot. I mean, I think Blanchfield does, but again, just say Furo goes and knocks Rose out, probably gets a title shot next. You know, it just depends on the fight goes.
All right. I want to see Blanchfield against the winner of Valentina against.
Me too.
But listen, man, if Furo wins and she does it decisively and they give her a title shot, I wouldn't be a problem with it. You know.
No doubt. I was looking at the comments again. Marcus is saying he saw Spivac fight. He's impressed by his, like, grappling. I mean, it's, even if you didn't see him fight in person, you could be impressed by Marcus. There's no doubt he's a good grappler. It's just the fight that he doesn't get to the ground, he gets starched. But we'll see, because I know some people are saying that Gane's not that one punch guy. I kind of agree, but again, he does have power. All right, let's go to the contender series, Marcel. That's it for the UFC Paris preview, guys. Let's go to the contender. Sure, 1 sec. I'll pull it up here. All right, guys, just the last thing we'll talk about here. Here we go. I'll pull up the odds as well. All right, let's go to these fights. All right, let's start with this one, Marcel. We got Dylan Salvador taking on Bolaji Oki, Belgium guy, right? I think.
Yeah. I've seen the fight often.
Salvador's -160, Oloki +125. You like Salvador?
If it stays standing, I think Salvador has a good chance. You know,
beat Giga, right? Yeah, he's the guy that beat Giga. Yeah.
And kickboxing, I think he did well later in MMA as well. But I mean, I know him more from Glory, Salvador. You know, and he was. I never felt like he was like the next level guy in Glory. So I don't know. You know, Bolaji Oki, I know more about him. I've seen him fight more often. I understand that Salvador is the favorite, but Bulaji Oki is a fun fighter as well. He was supposed to fight for a title here in the Netherlands. Never happened. And at the LFL, I think it was. Fun fighter to watch. And looking forward to this one, man. This actually, I hope for Belgium. Oki can get
what's
it
this
done.
promotion, by the way? Atomic. What is that promotion?
It's also a Belgian promotion, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is too. I haven't heard of it. And I saw the posters. It's kind of cool.
Months. Yeah.
All right, next fight: Chandler Cole taking on Thomas Peterson. Thomas Peterson's a huge favorite. He's minus 660. Oh wow, the line really got ahead. It was like I think he opened at minus 350. Cole plus 420. Yeah, Thomas Peterson wins this fight. He takes down Cole and ground and pounds him. He gets a UFC contract. I'm 100% convinced he wins. You like him?
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Timothy Kuamba against the Canadian Mateo Vogel. Odds on this one: Vogel minus 160, Kumbamba plus 130. I think Vogel wins. You like him, the Canadian?
Yeah, I also have like the urge to pick against the Canadian to be more level here because just kidding. I think I would say Vogel as well. Yeah,
Battlefield. He fought what's his name, Damon Blackshear, and he beat Garrett Armfield. So I mean, the guy's got some good experience. Fought in TKO, fought in Battlefield Fight League.
His two losses aren't bad. Damon Blackshear and Xavier Alaoui.
Yeah, exactly. This Kuamba guy, again, don't know a ton about him, but I like what I saw from the other dude. All right, Yusri Belgari against Marco Tulio Silva, and this is the guy that fought what's his name, Izzy and Pereira, right?
Yeah, and now he's training with Pereira.
That's crazy. So he beat Pereira. He beat Jason Wilness, who's another really good kickboxer as well. His odds minus 125, and the other guy's plus 105. So this is actually very close.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you picking?
Yeah, it depends what happens. If Marco can get it to the ground, he has a very good chance, I think, against Belgari, although he's not really a ground fighter, but I think he has an advantage there. Belgari has an advantage stand-up, It'll be a fun fight, man. I think it is a close one. I would think really this is might be one of the better fights on this card, I think.
Glico Franca is a middleweight? He used to fight like featherweight, didn't he? Lightweight. What the fuck?
I know. Yeah.
When did he move to middle? Anyways, that's interesting. I'll say this, like there was that guy a few weeks ago, Cesar Almeida, and his grappling looked amazing, right? So you never know, like this guy might come in here, especially training with Glover, but I don't know, man. I don't know. The other guy, again, training with Oliveira and those guys, right? So
yeah, shoot the box, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of lean this dude, to be honest with you, the grappling. Yeah. And there's been a lot of upsets, so pardon? Sorry?
I understand, yeah.
Sorry?
I said I understand, but,
fair
but I'll take care of us later. Yeah.
Carlo Prater, the former UFC fighter who fought Eric Silva. Mario Yamasaki, remember that fight?
Yeah.
Takes on Mitch Ramirez here. Yeah, exactly. Ramirez, Pratis minus 230, Ramirez plus 170. Those odds kind of surprised me, right? What do you think of that?
I like Ramirez in this one. You?
He's plus 170, dog. Plus 175. Why is he such a big dog?
I have no idea.
I mean, the guy's okay. So he LFA, Fierce FC, that's in Utah, and then Tough Enough, and then XMA beat Jeremy Holloway, I think, former Bellator fighter. Yeah, I mean, let me check Pratis out a little bit. All right, 16-6. Been submitted 3 times. Who's he beaten? Okay, he's an LFA guy as well. Did he win the tournament? No, he didn't win the tournament, but he's all right. So, yeah, again, don't know a ton. I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about these guys, but I'm just a little surprised by the odds being so heavy in this guy's favor, considering he has 6 losses.
Yeah, it's a winner for Charles Oliveira, a different Charles Oliveira.
A different one? Where is it?
Yeah, you should scroll. There you go. There.
The fake Dubronx. Look at this guy, Cipriano. What the heck? This guy's. Imagine he fought Charles Oliveira like it was like that Spider-Man thing where they're like pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Who are you picking?
I'm picking Mitch Ramirez to win.
There we go. So we got the same pick there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll lean towards him as a dog. And again, there's a lot of dogs that win at the show. So yeah, Chandler Cole, this heavyweight division in regional circuit sucks though, Glenn. So it's hard to get good prospects from heavyweight. All right, I think that's it for the show. Go ahead.
Did you watch Road FC or Road to UFC Japan?
Didn't see it, but I know that there was 8 fights and 7 went the distance.
Okay.
Did you watch it?
No, I only saw the finish.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it.
I was too late.
My boy Rongju won. Do you think he gets back in the UFC, Rongju?
Who knows? He's in the tournament, right? If he wins the tournament, he might be. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. Anyways, anything else you want to see, man, or are you good? We're almost went for 2 hours here. You good?
I can pull my pants down if you want to see that.
No, dude. No.
Just kidding.
I don't want to see that. Come on, there's children here. Anyways, guys, that's it for the podcast. Appreciate everyone joining in. UFC Paris Preview. We'll see what happens. We did have a consensus dog, Cornolle, and Marcel took Guskov as a dog. I took Rose as a dog, so we had a couple dog picks. Should be a good card. Hope you guys have a great week. Also, Marcel took McKee as a dog as well. Worth mentioning. But anyways, yeah, I hope. Go ahead.
I have a trivia for you.
Sure.
Porter lost to Junior and Justin Tafa. Which fighter in the UFC actually beat two brothers? You know that.
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. Who is it?
Brian Barberina, Joe and Jake Ellenberger.
Amazing. I thought it was going to be the Dan Miller and Jim Miller. I thought that's what I was thinking just now.
I don't even know. Maybe they did.
No, I do not against Brian, but it would be maybe someone did. I don't know though. Maybe it was just something I thought about. But yeah, I was going to say though, I appreciate you guys joining us for the podcast. Hope everyone has a great week. Marcel, what do you want to plug before you go here?
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, it never changed. Yeah, it changed way back in the day, but that was before I did MMA media thing. Eurosport.nl, mixed martial arts section, pretty much it. Watch the MMA odds break, MMAOB Daily. You can say that better than me. MMAOB Daily Podcast, right?
You got it.
With Adam Martin, Adam Martin. Give him a follow on Twitter. One of the best guys in this shit. I love Adam. I always do this every week with him. One of the best guys there is. Very good friend of mine.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. We hope to see you back next week. Then we do the recap of UFC Paris, and we do the preview of UFC 293, Israel Adesanya against Sean Strickland in Sydney.
Yep. Excited for that, man. I hope you guys have a great week. Follow the podcast on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it, guys. Appreciate everyone that talked to us. Really quick, I'm going to get these last questions from Pato because he's always here,
sure.
And we're going to take his last questions. Ferry say Lucas and Fernie are getting cut. I think Lucas will get one more because he's heavyweight. I think Fernie gets cut. Junior Waldo, I think we both talked about that fight. We like that one. Do we know why Lapalus left MMA Factory? Any idea?
I think there's something with Fernand because Fernand was managing him as well, and he went to another gym and also to another management. So I don't know exactly, but there is an interview online on YouTube 3 or 4 days ago posted by RMC Sport, and it's like a 30-minute interview with Taylor Lapalus, and it's with English subtitles. So you should maybe check that out. I haven't seen it yet, but I saw it yesterday. Maybe I will check it later today.
Fair enough. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks again, guys, and hope you have a great rest of your week. By the way, last one here. Verdun both did Emelianenko's. Great call there.
But not in the UFC.
True. Have a great call. Have a great weekend, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.